Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. I get this question a lot. And unfortunately, TikTok doesn't really love us talking about knives, but they're an important part of your kitchen. One thing I will say is for the budget conscious, I have this Olive & Joy knife, which I am totally obsessed with. It was only $19.99. It's a chef's knife. I would say 99% of the videos you see me in, this is the knife that I'm using. I did link it in my Amazon store. It's not sponsored. They don't pay me. It's just like such a good price, and the knife actually performs. So literally a trillion, gajillion knives and knife videos here on TikTok and different types of kitchen implements, and ranging in price from $20 to $1,000. There's all kinds of debates on types of steels and types of honing, and all that is way too much for me. I had one kitchen knife. I'll show it to you. I've had this 7-inch chef's knife made by Calphalon, which I think is actually made by Henckels, that I got with my pots and pans set that I bought. Sorry, that was gifted to me by my mother-in-law in 1999. This knife still performs as good as it did the day that it was purchased. It was a free gift with my pan set. I can't link it for you. So I found an alternative, which is similar. This knife is actually a little bit larger, and this knife is actually a little thinner and a little sharper than my Calphalon. Let's have a couple conversations about how to keep a knife for 25 years. There's a couple of different schools of thought. So if you buy like a knife set, which I'm not actually a proponent of, I don't think you need a knife set. I think the only knife you really need is a chef's knife. After that, maybe a bread knife, and then a paring knife, like a small paring knife. Other than that, you're really not going to use those other knives. I mean, we're not running a professional kitchen. We're just trying to feed our families. I think a chef's knife's all you need. A couple of things to keep an edge sharp. One of the ways is to not abuse your knife. What I mean by that is don't throw this in the bottom of the sink. Try not to scrape the edge of this knife over your cutting board. If you're going to use it to scoop, use the back of the knife, which is not a part of the knife that you use for cutting. I use a wood cutting board, much to many people's chagrin, but that is more gentle on your knife. Obviously, a glass cutting board. Like I said, don't leave it in the bottom of the sink. Don't soak it in water. Just try to not like bang this edge on things. This edge does have some chips and dents in it from over the years, from it being like dropped in the sink or whatever. So you're going to just try to treat it nicely and hand wash it and hand dry it. And then for storage, one of my favorite things about my Olive & Joy knife is it actually comes with a silicone sleeve so that I can just put it in the drawer and it keeps the blade nice and protected. I don't love a knife block. If you ever see chefs usually have their knives like magnetized, or like stuck to a magnetic board, like on the wall. That's to keep your edge from getting marred up. In and out of the block's not great. Probably even in and out of the sleeve is not as good as just hanging it up and not having the blade touch anything. But for us home cooks, and I have kids, I can't have a bunch of blades hanging on the wall. So for me, protective sleeve is fantastic. This knife is only $19.99, $20, which is an excellent value. Where a chef's knife's like this from Henckels, is going to run you at probably $100. Or the honing tool that comes with your knife block set, if that's what you have, that doesn't actually sharpen your knife. That just like re-straightens the edge to be straight. It doesn't sharpen it. The best tool for sharpening a knife is actually a stone, but it does take a little bit of skill to use a honing stone or a sharpening stone and to do it properly. And there's like steps. You use like a higher grade, lower grade, and then you do it on the leather to polish. It's kind of like a process. A lot of chefs poo-poo them and they don't like them. Like I said, I've had this knife for 25 years. I use it every single day and it stayed nice and sharp. And I just use a knife sharpener. I have this, I don't think I have this one, but I have this one linked in my Amazon store. It's super easy to use. Let me show you. It has fine, it has coarse. And basically what this is it's two pieces of metal or stone that are at the correct angle to sharpen your knife. And all you do is drag your knife through. You're going to do this super gently, and you're going to go like from the base to the tip like that. I have done a video for this before, and I'll tag it here. From the base to the tip, base to the tip. Then you're going to do it on the fine, base to tip, base to tip like that. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Base to tip. And then you're going to want to take a soft cloth and clean off the shavings that will be left over. Careful, your knife is sharp now, but I just take a soft cloth and I just go over it, and that gives you a nice sharp edge. Say I'm like on a schedule, like, oh, I sharpen them once a month, but honestly what I do is when I use it, if it seems dull to me, which is not that often, I will pull this out and do it. I mean, this one's great too. I don't think I have this one linked, but I can look to link it. Either of these are great. This is not Smith's, the grocery store. I made that mistake before. This is actually like a knife company that makes this sharpener. It also has one for scissors, which is great to sharpen the edge of your scissors because your scissors get dull. If everyone are like, why are my scissors not working? Well, your scissor edge is probably dull. A couple things you can't sharpen. Can't sharpen serrated knives. So bread knives and steak knives that have a serrated edge. Can't really sharpen those at home. And you can't sharpen like peelers. And I advocate for these super cheap peelers. They usually come in like a 1-pack or 3-packs. I have these linked to on my Amazon. Again, not sponsored. Because once these get dull or rusted, you just got to throw them out. Like it's pretty much donezo. So a nice cheap peeler is good. Don't waste your money on an expensive peeler because you can't sharpen this blade. I hope that helps. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to help. Again, I don't know how many people will see this because TikTok doesn't like us talking about our chef's knives, even though obviously this is a huge part of cooking. But I hope that answers your questions.